So the dark headstones were only imposed after First World War. That is the choice here of the architect. But after First World War, no money to maintain the graves, so a private association was created. It is still nowadays this private association that maintains memorials and cemeteries in over 100 countries all around the world. The association has chosen as a symbol a set of 5 crosses. So the clusters, the standing crosses we see repeated several times in the cemetery, are not headstones. They are the symbol of this German association. The cross in the center is higher to show the way to heaven. They are made of lava stone brought from Germany. The headstones are flat. There was a lot of humility in the design of the German architect, late 1950s, so he didn't want to disturb the landscape. That is why the headstones are so flat. On each of them we can read first the rank, then the name, date of birth and date of death of the soldier. And then we can see there is a second one. Most of the time the soldiers are buried 2 by 2. This cemetery was made between 1958 and 1961, mostly by teams for the international youth. One of the teams made a mistake and removed the dog tags from 80 soldiers before identifying the bodies. So they had 80 names, 80 bodies, could not tell who was who anymore. They buried them together in the moat, which is behind me, which is the center of this cemetery. There are markers by the foot of this moat indicating the name of the 80 soldiers. They are all Germans. On one of the markers we can also read plus 207 unknown. So there are almost 300 soldiers buried in this tumulus.
This is an unknown one also.
That is one unknown. There are many unknown. Most of the German bodies remained buried for 10 years, 15 years before they were gathered into cemeteries. The Germans were lacking of quality steel, so most of the dog tags will rot, will decay. That is why a third of the soldiers buried here are unknown. So a third of them. Commonwealth cemeteries, we are still on French land. We had no reason to give the land to the Germans, they were not invited. Today we'll be on US soil. In the US cemetery, but also the Point du Roc. Here we see French soil.
This is French soil. It's French soil. It's not a German soil.
They were first trained in Northern Ireland, but for this mission they were trained on the Isle of Wight. Because on the Isle of Wight, south of England, you can find the same kind of limestone cliffs. They had true machine gunners firing close to them during the trainings. During these trainings, they had to be able to hang themselves biting the ropes, to have free hands, to fire at the same time. So they had to hold their own weight, 50 pounds equipment in the back, the recoil from the firing, just with the ankles and the teeth. Very strong men. The Allies planned that 3 companies of the 2nd Rangers Battalion would land down the cliff at 6:30 in the morning, same landing time as the first waves on Utah and Omaha sectors. These 225 men had then to scale the cliff. Once on the top, they will send a signal to get some reinforcement. The deadline to send a signal is 7 AM. Meaning that the first wave had just 30 minutes to scale the cliff. Once on the top, they had to destroy the guns. First mission, to destroy the guns, they had thermite grenades. Now they don't explode, you throw them inside the barrels, they go to very high temperature and they melt. So you've got welded steel inside the barrel, which is then destroyed. Second mission, go half a mile inland to see the road we just left, connecting a port, well defended by the Germans, to Omaha Beach. They have to block the road, wait for the relief, to come from Omaha, and then they had to liberate the two next towns, the farthest being 12 miles away. So that was the mission for Dog, Easy and Fox companies of the 2nd Rangers Battalion for D-Day midnight. By midnight, they must be 12 miles away after liberating two towns. Okay, that was the mission. I'm now going to present you the battery. Then I will tell you what happens to Rangers. Afford to install their guns on open-air gun emplacements, like the one which is just now behind me. The gun was then mounted on the platform and will rotate then at 360 degrees. That was 1942. We can see how flat the field is behind. So all the holes are all craters, bomb craters or shell craters. The bombs will have deeper craters and rounder. The shells fired by the Navy will arrive with an angle, so they will be less deep and more elliptical shaped holes. These guns were only protected by a camouflage net and by a few anti-aircraft gun emplacements. There were 3 of them. You can still see 2 of these flak guns. The bags of concrete at the western end of the field. At the eastern end, there is a second one, now topped by a small platform. Then the Germans lost the air supremacy. They had to protect their guns by pillboxes. So there are 2 pillboxes, one which is also topped by a platform, another one before on the right. These pillboxes and flak gun emplacements are the only bunkers on the surface. All the others do not need to be outside. They will be better camouflaged, better protected being on the ground. So there are 30 bunkers in these fields. And all of them, most of them are underground. They used to be interconnected by trenches and by tunnels. So out of all these 30 bunkers, only 2 have light. So let's see one of them. Behind the cliff, we will see Utah Beach. 11 miles away. If I take the map of this area, we're now here, Point du Hoc. So the first cliff we see here are the one which is very close by. Behind there is a port, Grain Camp. There are the towers behind the rapeseed field.
Right.
And then, well, by clear weather, right on the cliff, we'll see on the skyline, Utah. And you can actually distinguish even the Utah Museum.
Wow.
11 miles away as a crow flies. Omaha is to the east, so the other way. It's just 4 miles away. We can't see it because of the next cliff, Point de la Percée, but Omaha is just behind. Point du Hoc itself is behind me. This is why you can see this monument shaped as a dagger. Do you remember the mission? Together reinforcements, block the road, wait for the relief, liberate the 2 next towns. That was the mission. And all this was planned on the 5th of June, because the entire landing operation was planned on a Monday. It was delayed because of the bad weather. But because you've got 1/6 of a million men to land on D-Day, you have to start to embark them on the 1st of June. So the Rangers were the first one to embark June 1st.
But weren't they behind lines? The
No,
first ones?
no, they came across also.
They came across.
They could cross the channel that to land from England. This means that the Rangers stayed 4 days with the worst storm on the English Channel for the last 30 years, even before they started to cross it. Then they crossed the channel, stopped 11 miles offshore, well, 11.5 miles offshore, just out of range of the guns. The soldiers had then to climb down the ship and go on their landing barges. So here they were LCAs, smaller version, but very similar to the Higgins boats. The Rangers had to face a very swelly sea. Offshore the Point du Hoc, offshore Omaha Beach, there were 6-foot waves. Very, very swelly sea. Just by the weather, the Rangers lost 3 barges. 2 of them were carrying platoons, they were saved. The last one was carrying reserve ammunitions that barely float, so seas was lost. The strong currents, which are here, were underestimated. and the fog limited the visibility. So the Rangers, with their flat-hulled barges, instead of heading towards Point du Hoc, where we are now, drifted and were ready to land by Point de la Percée, the next point. They were ready to land there when they realized they were heading toward the wrong point. They then corrected and came towards Point du Hoc, all from the eastern side. To protect the advance of the Rangers, the Navy will shell on the German position until 6:25. So 5 minutes gap between the end of the naval bombardment and the Rangers landing will not give enough time to the Rangers to recover, but to the Germans to recover. Because they headed toward the wrong point first, the Rangers finally landed down this point at 7:08. So 7:08, that is over 40 minutes between the end of the naval bombardment and the first wave landing. The Germans had all the time to recover, all the time to see the Rangers arriving, all the time to install mortar pits, to install mortars, and to start to shell on the beach down the wall. 7:08 also means it was too late to send a signal from the top of the cliff to get some reinforcements. So after losing the reserve ammunitions, they lost all the chances to get some reinforcements. To help them in the climbing, the Rangers had 3 ducks that were towing London firemen ladders. The London firemen gave them ladders that they would drive the ducks close by the wall and then use these ladders to scale. But the naval bombardment made huge holes, not only on the top of the cliff but also by the sea level. By the sea level, these holes were very soon filled up with mud. This prevented the Rangers to drive them close by the walls. To help them in the climbing, they had mortar tubes welded on the side of the barges to propel hooks to the top of the cliffs. But the explosive charges inside to propel the hooks were calculated for dry ropes. The Swedish Sea made the ropes twice heavier. Hopefully for the Rangers, the naval bombardment hit the cliff itself, so part of the cliff collapsed. So picture of this cliff collapsing. This cliff collapsing took place 60 yards before the next platform. So the first wave of Rangers actually landed 60 yards before the next platform by this pile of rocks. It's a tricky picture. It looks like the half of the height. It's in fact 1/3. For the rest of the climbing, the Rangers used these light steel ladders. Each element is 5 foot long. You just put them together to get the ladder as long as you want. It is said the first Rangers managed to scale the cliff in just 10 minutes. All the men were on the top of the cliff by 7:45. So the Rangers were then holding the edge. They had to find the pits. They will go up and down all the craters to avoid the German machine gunning coming from inside. Then the Rangers will find the pits, and in the pits they will find fake guns. Fake guns. The battery had been bombed for 7 weeks already. The Germans could not stop the bombs. They tried to preserve the guns, so they moved the guns out of the battery, and to trick the Allies, they put telephone poles under the camouflage nets. So the Rangers were a bit disappointed, of course. They bypassed some German positions and controlled the road just before 9 AM. One of the Rangers, the first Sergeant Leonard Lommel from New Jersey, could find in one old cart behind the road 5 of the guns. So he had thermite grenades. That is how he destroyed the guns.
And you got to look at them, it's quite weird. When you...
The best speeches a US president ever had dealing with the landing. And we have a picture of him here with the microphone in front of him and the doing just behind him. Very easy to Google this picture on the internet.
So this is deteriorated, what, 10 years?
It was 10 years ago, yes. And the cliff now over there, the point itself, now separated the main walls. It was connected to it.
Ah, okay.
Now there is a gap in between. The cliff was reinforced, not the point itself, so the point will disappear. There are now two arches which are under construction by the erosion of the sea.
What I see here.
By the DC exploration, you have US flags all over the place where the US war was
And see that
let's make a small detour by the edge first. I'd like to show you Omaha from the German perspective.
Oh.
The restaurant is just 1 mile from where we are, to the west. And Dog One, the one where I show you the machine gun pit, is 2.5 miles to your left. So Omaha keeps going for 1.5 miles to your right. So we're not in the center of Omaha, but almost. We are between two exits, Easy 1 and Easy 3. Behind me is not a main gully, it's a small draw, which is now named Dawson's Draw. Joe Dawson was leading 2 companies up this draw. 1st Division, 16th Regiment.
Supposedly, according to our guide, the story of Saving Private Ryan was based on the brothers, the Nealon brothers,